Hey, and welcome to the continuation of Shou plays Seduce Me, the otome. All of a sudden, the air grew still and quiet. I opened my eyes and looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. Well, that's a nifty spell to think into existence, I guess. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light purple orb. I stared as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling. For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content, despite the situation I was in. My heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been. Grandpa? As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather from when I last saw him. I stared up at him, completely shocked that I was correct and that his form was standing in front of me.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
You did what? What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes in acknowledgement before looking at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
To know what? That you handled demon magic?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. Why? What is there to gain from learning and using demon magic?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
I am so confused right now. You met the boys?
Yes, it was I who helped them come here, but it seems it was at the cost of my life.
Oh. That's really sad. That sucks. What? Why? Why sacrifice yourself like that? Maybe he didn't know. None of this made sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. I needed answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone?
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learnt of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps. As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me.
That makes sense. I mean, demon magic? Seriously? Dude.
I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Why does Dad hate you so much? Why put that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
That makes a lot of sense.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of.
He still should have told me, though.
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Curiosity is human nature. How do you stop curiosity? Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you. including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all so fast, despite not time moving a single inch. Time doesn't move in inches.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
Why? Now I'm in trouble. So my grandfather met the incubi. That seems so surreal. I could hardly believe it. Yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me. It was almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world.
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere and I helped them as they learned more about humans. Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
Oh, I see. It was all you're doing. So that's why they were in the house. But they said they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone.
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
Oh, how different is incubi society to human society? If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, that would be like real me. Curious to a fault. Why not teach me when I visited?
You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I'm so proud of you.
And I'm so confused by you. What are you saying? I've barely begun reading it. I don't remember anything.
I will help you remember.
With ghost magic? Then, my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once, my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic, the demon world, and everything my grandfather had known. Yep, ghost magic. I looked up at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything and more as he smiled down at me.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
I think I want to study the magic. I want to be a witch. My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow after, still unsure and lost as ever. But my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please. He didn't turn back and he didn't stop walking. Soon, he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember. I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. Soon, the world around me returned to normal, with Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory. A bunch of words I can't pronounce.
What the? Latin? What are you?
More words! All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room and pushing the devils away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth!
Can I do magic without words? More magic words!
Come here!
Malix charged at me, dropping the gun that would never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head with my arms, while a dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me. This is getting so ridiculous. I mean, it was already over the top before, but now it's just... I don't even know.
How? You're just a human!
I don't know that. Do you know that? A human who knows how to fight back. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress. I could fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands as I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me.
Malix!
No! Stay out of it! I'll kill this bitch with my own 2 hands one way or another!
As commanded, Eris stood away from us along with the other demons. Did I skip something? The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against their leader.
Oh, you must think you're some tough shit since you know some demon magic, huh? Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I could play this all day, and when you finally lose all your energy, your ass is grass.
I glared, knowing that what he said was true. I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last a while until someone found me, or until I could overpower Malix somehow. Malix charged at me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out of my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly began shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. Not exactly Hadoken, but it is energy magic, even if it's purple. I had terrible aim, only able to scratch the edges of his body with 1 or 2 actually stabbing onto his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling them out and throwing them to the ground.
Quit playing around, Malix!
I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run up through my veins to consume both of my arms. I began to pant, desperate for some relief before continuing. Malix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love of God, please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. What made everyone in that warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of police sirens coming closer to our location. Malix smirked even wider.
It's time to have fun, boys! Make sure you kill them all!
But that's a bad thing. Killing is bad. The devils all seemed to get excited and started to walk past us to meet with the cops, but a loud finger snap stopped them and made them turn around. Malix and I looked to see Eris with her hand in the air, post-snap.
Eris? What are you doing?
Enough, Malix! We've wasted enough time in this stupid town. I'm getting out of here and I'm taking the rest with me.
Okay, so if devils don't have free will, then who are your orders from? I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Malix got angry again.
Like hell you are! Boys, do as I say, or else!
Or else what? None of the boys moved. Eris snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush back past her and out another way from the warehouse.
Malix, it's over. You can't even beat a human girl! You're losing your powers! Lower devils only follow higher-ups that actually have power.
Shut your mouth!
Malix summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line and reappear by us. Us? Who? She shook her head, letting out a sigh before grabbing Malix by the neck and pulling him off me. Malix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him.
All this for a bunch of pretty boys. You must be stupid and desperate.
Eris looked to me, making me tense up.
Human, I suggest heading home to your pretty boys. You don't want to get involved in a supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass.
Are you like private detectives or something? She then turned back to Malix, glaring daggers into him as he glared back at her.
You really think women are weak? Let me fix that. Sweetie.
And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Malix with her. As I was left alone, the police sirens stopped. I looked over to the open passage to see the incubi with a large police siren megaphone staring at me in surprise.
Where is he? I swear I'm gonna...
He disappeared. The girl demon took him. He's gone. Eris took him and left. They won't be coming back. It was all so surreal. I was helped by a devil, but I quickly shook off the feeling. I was alive, and that was all that mattered. I fought to stay alive, and there I was, being alive and stuff. The boys tried to question me, but James cleared his throat, catching the attention of his brothers and me.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
Yeah, I guess so. Altogether, we began to walk out of the warehouse, back home. There was no way in hell anyone was going to find out about this. It was over. Malix was gone and the boys were finally safe. How much did I skip? What the hell? I'm lost. A wave of relief ran through my body at the thought of never having to deal with that group again. At the same time, a ping of realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were only going to stay until after Malix was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I could feel something heavy weigh down my heart. It was late, but the boys led me inside and turned on the lights in the lobby.
Finally, we can relax.
Yep. Take a nap.
It will be good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks.
I'm just tired. Can I hit the hay early?
Yeah, go for it.
I think some sleep would be good for all of us.
I looked to Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, bed sounds good. I wanted to just end tonight. Too much had happened and I felt dizzy just trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving.
Should we be gone in the morning?
The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit the boys like a wave, forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal, and were now awaiting me to decide their fate. However, I knew my answer. I couldn't keep them here. I knew I couldn't. They were demons, and I was a human. I needed to deal with my own life beyond anything else. If the boys stayed, my life would only become more complicated. I think that would be best. James nodded in agreement, keeping a professional tone in his voice as he replied to me.
Then we will be gone before you wake, miss. Thank you for letting us stay here as long as we did.
You can have some breakfast before you leave, though. I could feel the upset emotions of the incubi reverberate in the room, but I couldn't change my mind. I had too much going on in my life to let them stay, no matter how much I wanted them to.
It was a pleasure to have served you, beautiful lady.
I still don't like you or your tone of voice. It was hard watching each boy turn away from me for the last time. I stood there, waiting for them all to leave the lobby.
I guess this is goodbye. Yeah. Have a good one.
Okay, have a good sleep. I stuck to my guns. I knew I was making the right choice.
Thank you for having us, miss. Maybe we'll see each other again.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Goodbye.
Good night. As Damien left my sight, I finally let in air that I was denying into my body and sighed. My life would return to normal. Well, as normal as it could be. However, I was smarter and wiser than before. I knew of things beyond humanity now. I had come to learn about the boys and about the existence of the supernatural. I wasn't blind to what was beyond human life. Learning of this made me more open-minded. And we'll find out about that in the next episode, but if it's too short, I'll just, stick it onto this episode. So I guess we'll see.